Hello and welcome back to another video. Today is the 1st of July. That means 4 days until pre-release. I'm really excited and I want to prepare a little bit. So I'm in Tabletop Simulator and I'm gonna build a seal deck. This is actually, believe me or not, the first packs I'm virtually opening, or seal deck I'm virtually building, so it's gonna be interesting. I'm just gonna talk through my thoughts so you can hear a little bit about my opinions on the new set regarding to limited play, and yeah, I think that's about it. Let's jump right into it. So I've just generated these packs from the pack generator here in the multiplayer mod on Tabletop Simulator, and here we have the rares and legendaries on the bottom, so I'm gonna start with those. And I think that's not the worst way to start when you look at your seed pod, because if you get some really good rares or legendaries, then it might be worth kind of pursuing those colors or aspects rather. So not too stoked about these. 2 MIGs. Maybe in a Kylo deck it could work, but I don't think Kylo's gonna be all that good in limited. We'll see. Given to your anger is pretty cool. Not a bomb. I mean, with rares and legendaries, I would be most happy about getting big units, like for instance the Mandalorian unit, 5/6 Sentinel. Pretty good stats for limited. Chewbacca is not too bad actually. The fact that you can smuggle him in red means that you don't necessarily have to play blue. And the 4-cost 4/5 is also really nice, and getting some value from upgrades, which I think is going to be really good for the set. I don't remember if they reprinted Confiscate, but there's not that much upgrade removal in general, so it's going to be nice. Choose sides. That's a very situational card, I would say. At 7 resources, you don't necessarily have a bad unit you would like to give your opponent, but maybe. Let's see what we have here on the comments and non-comments. I think when it comes to sealed, the most important thing is seeing that you have enough cards. So sometimes you will be limited to some aspects, but I will just spread out these cards and have a brief look. A lot of yellow it looks like, but it's hard to tell when they're all mixed. I think I'm actually just going to pause the recording here and sort the cards. You don't have to spend time watching me do that, so let me grab that and then I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back. I got all the cards sorted out, but let's look at the leaders I opened. I should also get the pre-release leaders because we can use them as well, so that's pretty nice to know. But we have Fennec, Cad Bane, Han Solo, Gar Saxon, and Rey. I think as soon as I see these, I'm actually very happy, because I think these are some of the best leaders from the set. I don't know necessarily for draft or sealed, but there's some really good cards here. Han Solo is one that's been getting a lot of attention, but I think for limited, Rey might be even better. Being able to just give value to your cards, because yes, Han, you can get discounts, but you're not necessarily gonna have really good cards to give discounts to, because you're limited to the cards you actually opened from your packs. But with Ray you can just give more value, and the restore I think is very impactful in limited. Gar Saxon, if you get a lot of shielded units, that's gonna be amazing, just giving them value, and the 4/7 body is also pretty nice. Cad Bane, I would say the same thing. If you have a lot of Underworld, it's gonna be nice to utilize. With Fennec, I'm not sure. I still haven't tested her at all. Ambush is a very valuable ability, but paying 1 for it and having the restriction of a 4 cost makes me doubt a little bit. And the 4/4 body I think matters maybe more in limited than it does in constructed, because if your opponent has a 4/7 and you have a 4/4, that's gonna just straight out of the bat give you a disadvantage. And if you don't have cards to play around it, then that you can't recover from that disadvantage. Alright, but let's look what I opened. Not that bad, I would say. In sealed pods, I kind of like to see a lot of cards in one color, because then that gives me more direction. If there's the same amount in each color, you probably gonna spend some time trying to figure out what's best, and you're not gonna have that many cards for those colors because it's evenly spread. So here I'm immediately drawn towards green, but we have to see if these cards are any good, because it doesn't matter if you have many cards if they're not good. Obviously. When it comes to Heroism and Villainy, we have a little bit more villain cards, I think. 4, 5, 8, 12 plus 6, 18. And then here we have 5 plus 5, 10, 13, 14, 16. Yeah, so here again, not a very clear choice, but we're gonna see kind of the colors in combination with the aspects, like hero and villainy, and the leaders, of course, because we have a pretty good 50-50 split as well. And then we have only 2 double aspect cards, a new adventure. Those are, I would say, actually playable for 4, so we definitely have to consider them, even though we're probably not gonna run double cunning. And we actually got a foil rare, and that's Tech. And I think Tech is a card you need to pay attention to. Both Tech and the Toro, the 3 cost in Villainy, those are kind of gonna be like cards that might pull you towards either Villainy or Heroism. Tech, I would say, is so good just because he gives you so much card advantage in the late game. You can resource him early in the game, because paying 4 for him is great and you get that card advantage, but mostly you want him for more gas in the late game, because in draft you can, no sorry, I always say draft, in sealed you can get to kind of stalemate positions where you don't really have any good cards to play, your opponent doesn't either, you just play a bunch of small units, for instance. But having access to all of your resources with Tech is probably going to give you that edge that you need to win in the late game. Also, 3 cost 2/5 is good, but a 3 cost 3/5 of course is better with Toro. But yeah, let's actually look at these cards. In blue, you would like to see some removal, so we have Fell the Dragon. That's a really good card. The rest I'm not that excited about, but we have some good cards here. The Client is really nice. Pike Sentinel is okay. Sinara, I think she's not that good, especially when you don't have ways to play around the grit. Super Commando Squad is really nice with Gar Saxon, so if you want to play him, he's gonna be a lot better, having that 5 power. I really like Quill in Constructed. Don't know Sealed. It's of course good to have cheap units, but you're not gonna draw that consistently from his on-attack ability. Here, I really like these yellow cards. Dr. Evazan is probably the best 2-drop you could play. Frozen in Carbonite is gonna be a basically a Vanquish for 3, because you can be pretty sure that your opponent's not gonna have ways to deal with the upgrades that often. Sometimes they do, but most often in Sealed I think they won't have anything. Zuckuss is nice just because of the stats. Yeah, this guy not so much, but it's something to play at least. These cards, however, are good. Wookiee definitely, 2 cost 3/3 is amazing. And the Cloud Rider is basically removal, or just a threat if you want to develop the board. But otherwise, not that many good yellow cards. A new adventure, we don't really have any kind of great play. We could use it to refresh the shield on the Doctor, or to just heal Zuckuss. Otherwise, not that good. 3 cost 3/4 is pretty nice. I think these space units are also good, just because they're space units. The Falcon especially, because it's 5/5, so you're gonna need a lot of power to kill it. This is not easy. Protector of the Throne. It's not the best cards. These Wookiees are not that good either. This guy is essentially a 3/1 if you want to play him on turn 1. I think that's okay actually. It's so much better than not having a turn 1 play. So, and then this guy can help you, for instance, enable Grit on Snara-san, or on this Wookiee. But let's say we would want to go villain, and we would pick yellow. What would be our second color? Let's look at green. Okay, we have some duplicates here. 2 Outlaw Coronas, 2 of these 3/3s in space. Space is really something you have to think about when it comes to limited. So I think those Coronas, even though the ramping part is very, very bad, like if your opponent claims that bounty, but dealing with space is so hard in limited, so I think they can be actually quite good. Okay, I'm just gonna follow my gut feeling here and try... Oh shit, I totally forgot the rares. We need to consider those before I decide. I mean, red hero could be nice, because all of these cards are good, and then we have Chewie as well. Red yellow hero maybe, or we could go yellow Villainy with green. Yeah, then we can't really utilize any of these though, but let's see. Upgrades. Did we get some upgrades? We did not. I mean, this works. And Mandalorian Warrior also works with Koska. Also work with Ketsu. And we have some more Mandalorians here. Yeah, that's not too bad actually. And Chewbacca can definitely be our win condition, just having a big unit. But are these guys worth playing over this? I think we have a lot of space units here, 3 and then 2 more there. Yeah, so this is not an easy decision. I'm gonna see what we can do with red and yellow first, and then I'll be right back. Actually, you know what? As soon as I said that, I realized we haven't even looked at the leaders. What's the leader gonna be if we wanna go red and yellow? It would have to be Han, Mando, and Fennec. I don't feel like these units are that good with those. We basically have no upgrades for Mando, so I think maybe Han would be the best. Some of these can survive that 2 damage. This guy has grit, so he's a 7/3 for 5. Yeah, could work. Yeah, so you have to consider if you're gonna get any value out of that ability, but of course just a 5 cost 3/6 is good. Mando of course is higher statted, but with these units I would go for a more aggressive approach. But if we are gonna think of the power level of our leaders as well, I'm kind of drawn towards Rey. We have Chewbacca here. We have a lot of units with 2 or less power, especially all of these. How does this work? You may reveal the top card of your deck if it's not the unit given experience token to another unit. Yeah, that's not the best, but I mean, getting it 1/3 on turn 1 is okay with Rey because we can buff it, and space is gonna be something that's hard to deal with, but I don't like that card very much. But let's think of Rey. We already have these, we have some nice units here, and then we need a supporting color. We have the most cards in green. Model cohort is also really good, but I do think our red cards look quite strong. Let's try with green first, just to see what we're working with. So I'm just copying these cards, and then these, and then I'll just quickly sort them by cost type. Yeah, cost and type, and then we can look at the curve. Alright, here we go. So we have space units on the top row, ground units in the middle, and then everything else in the bottom. So first of all, not that much space, and these units are not the strongest. Missed one Corona, but I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in sealed is actually pretty decent. When it comes to 2 drops, we have, I would say, a nice amount. Right now 8 and 9 if you count this guy. In total there's 38 cards, so we would have to cut 8 of them, and I would say that's pretty good when you pick out some colors that you like. If you still have 8 cards left to cut, then that's really nice. It kind of sucks if you put your preferred colors together and it's, let's say, 32, and then you have to end up playing some cards that you don't really want to draw, like Bounty Guild Initiate. Alright, the events are okay. I don't know if I like Moment of Glory. I've never played it. Take Captive, I actually do like. I think it's gonna be a way to win more when you're a little bit ahead, and that's quite good. We don't have that much late game, so that's kind of a problem, but I think we're gonna be able to get a lot of value out of Ray, because when you take a look here, you see a lot of 2s, so we can give a lot of experience. The Wookiees might actually end up drawing us some cards, and with the Mandalorian Warrior we might get the really nice turn 2 play, buffing the Rescuer. We also have these to buff. I think I would play choose sides, even though I don't really know if it's that good, because we have a lot of cheap units, and if our opponent plays something big, it could be a nice answer. And it kind of works together with the game plan just to flood the board with smaller units. Really like Felder Dragon. I think I would play more if there were more in the pool. Covert Strength seems pretty nice. Cards with Smuggle, I think they're gonna be a little bit better in Limited than they are in Constructed, just because they give you options, they give you something to play. So I think this all in all looks decent. I'm gonna start cutting some cards. So we have very few bounty hunters, if we have any. We have this guy that lets us capture an enemy ground unit. Other than that, I don't think we have any, so I'm gonna remove him. I am gonna remove these. They can help us close out the game. That could be a use case for them, or to kind of trade up, but I'm not sure. I feel like I would rather just play more units and buff them with Ray. I think I'm gonna keep these, even though they're very poorly statted. But we're gonna see how many non-units we're ending up with. Public Enemy is nice, because I think it's gonna be in our favor to do some trades, because we have a lot of units with a lot of health and not that much power. So I can see myself doing some trades here, and then getting the shields out of it can be nice. Rich Reward kind of works with our game plan of going wide and giving experience, but I don't like it that much, so maybe cut one. Unexpected Escape, I would say, is actually a decent card, because capturing is going to be more relevant in Limited, and just exhausting a big unit can be very, very nice for 1 cost. I think all of the 3 costs are pretty nice. The Twin Pod is not that good, but if our opponent doesn't have that much space, it can be really impactful. Getting it to a 3/3 and then essentially hitting for a difference of 5 with the restore. So, oh yeah, I need to press F11. 4 cards. We need 4 more. Oh, that's a space card. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna remove one of these squad jumpers. Maybe We can't remove these because we don't have that many expensive cards. Maybe I'm removing the second one as well because we have not that many non-units left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it's on attack. Ah, I thought it was when played. Then I could be pretty decent actually. Because then playing it on turn 1 is actually a good play. I thought it was just when played. I don't think these are too good, but there's space. 2 more cards. You can do this. This is the worst thing about limited. I mean, actually it's not. When you have the privilege to kind of have decent cards to play and it's hard to cut, then you know you've at least gotten a pool that's okay. So removing one of these just because of the stats are kind of meh. And then yeah. That quad jumper is really messing with me. Yeah, I think I'll remove Rich Reward. Alright. That's the deck then. I don't think it's that strong. Looking at the pool, we maybe can make something better with other colors, another leader maybe. But you never know before you play. You just have to go for something, and I think Ray looks quite nice in limited. That restore 3 is gonna matter a lot. And as I said, upgrades just giving you more power. Alright, that was it. My first seal deck for Shadows of the Galaxy. Went a little bit long, but I hope you're as excited for the pre-release as I am, and ready to be doing this with physical cards. Alright, have a good one, and hopefully see you in the pre-release weekend.